Welcome to Pick Six TV. I'm Dylan Harper.
And I'm Kyle Stanley.
All right, episode 3 here. We're just as well, we're not really.
No.
Yeah, we're over it. Just on a side note, we did watch these close. Moving division by division.
Right.
Going NFC South now. Gone West, North. Now we're going to the South. Start with the NFC. Who's winning this division?
The Atlanta Falcons are going to win this division. I figured I'd hop on this bandwagon early. So
I don't know if I trust that Ryan character.
that Ryan. Oh no, he's not that good. So I think Matt Ryan is just going to get better. He had a phenomenal season last year. He's just going to get better. As he gets better, you got Michael Turner is going to open it up for him even more. And we got a great quarterback, good receivers, and a great running back. It's just too much to defend. So
That's
I
true.
think they're taking the division.
Now, on the Falcons, who do you think, there's been a lot of talk that they're going to go after Oklahoma tight end Brandon Pettigrew. Is that the best pick for them?
No, I think that would really work great for them. They could use a great versatile tight end like Pettigrew and just add one more threat.
That would be good. Now, I'm surprised we haven't heard them go after Bolden at all or any other big-time receiver. Wouldn't that be a nice combo to have Ryan, give him another target?
I think I think they want to spend most of their money on defense and really improve that. They got good receivers for him, and he's working great with them. And bringing in a guy who kind of didn't like his last team, kind of had some problems there. So
That's true.
I think they're happy with what they have, and they're not going to go and look for a guy who might be a slight improvement, but could cause some problems on the road.
Very true. All right, now we're moving on to basketball a little bit. There's an article in Sports Illustrated recently. I actually read it today in the hospital waiting room. Don't worry, I'm fine. About Dwight Howard and how he's too silly to win a championship. That was the article, and
I don't know.
I thought read into it because they compared him to Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain, all these guys, and Kevin Garnett too. We're all like they're serious. They get it. They're bad. They're badasses was the phrase in the article that they kept using, and they're when they dunk they get all mad and they're pumped up. And they say Dwight Howard's not going to be able to take this team to a championship the way that was they implied that he's not going to be able to take the team to a championship the way he's going. Is this true? Is this, is there anything to this? Is this kind of like one of those,
I don't know. I think it's kind of a slow time in sports right now, so that's when these kind of articles pop up. Obviously, he can keep up with the best players in the league. He's doing great this year. So to say that his attitude isn't right, I think it's kind of arrogant.
Yeah, and it's not like he has a bad attitude or he doesn't care.
Yeah,
because he self-admittedly he cried when he's a rookie. He cried when they lost, and he says now he even sometimes cries, and so he clearly cares about winning, cares about going out there. He clearly tries.
Yeah, he's real passionate about the game, and how you show your passion. I really don't think it affects your play. It's just as long as you are passionate and you do love the game, you put in the work.
Phil Jackson, an excellent coach, of course, said he's the one player he build the team around in the NBA right now. So interesting. We'll see how that develops. I do like Dwight Howard. I hope he goes far in the playoffs. All right, back to predictions. Going to the AFC South, and the Colts have owned this division for a long time. But they were dethroned last year. Is this trend going to continue?
No, and Peyton Manning was not up to Peyton Manning standards at the beginning of last year. Got off to a slow start, but he came back, won the NFL MVP. And, in my opinion, didn't really deserve it. I really think it should have gone to Drew Brees. But
I agree with you there.
But he still did play really well at the end of last season, and that's just what he can do. So I think he's going to come in this year, play like he always does, and the Colts are going to win.
Interesting. Now, I'm actually going to disagree with you here and go for an upset in the Houston Texans. Now, the only reason, it's always fun to be the guy who gets the upset, right? And if you're ever going to call an upset in this division, Peyton Manning, they got a new coach.
Yeah.
They lost Marvin Harrison, Peyton's go-to guy. And I'm not saying the Colts are a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, but if there's ever a year to call Houston winning, Andre Johnson is just an absolute monster.
Yeah, he's I think he's the best receiver in the league, a playmaker like no one else can.
Exactly. And, of course, the Titans are obviously going to be a little upset, Titans fans watching. Haynesworth was such a big presence to that team.
Yeah, they depended so much on the play of their defensive line. It's not going to be as good next year. I know they got some good guys that came in last year when Haynesworth was injured, and they played really well, but I don't see them doing it on the consistent basis that Albert Haynesworth did it on.
Yeah, I think for them to be really competitive, especially in the higher echelon teams, they're going to need either Kerry Collins or Vince Young to step way up. I don't think Kerry's going to be able to step up the same way last year even, or because he is old. Vince Young, I think, if you really want to get to Titans in there, Vince Young would have to have a great year somehow, come out maybe in an injury, but it's going to be tough for the Titans, I think. All right, now we're going to do a special segment here called How to Save the Lions. The Detroit Lions are pretty much unarguably the worst franchise in National Football Leagues, but they have some of the best, most passionate fans in the NFL and a great location. So this town, these fans deserve better than the Detroit Lions.
I think they deserve the best. A great franchise. They are the most devout fans. If you can sit there and watch your team lose 16 games in a season,
their team's still coming to your game. I am so impressed by these fans. It's a whole nother culture there, and they're so passionate still. And we're going to start off with how to save it by stating right now, do not draft Matt Stafford. Kyle will tell you why.
It is a weak quarterback class. If we had, Colt McCoy or Sam Bradford or even Tim Tebow decide to go into the draft, we would not be talking about Matt Stafford. He is not the guy who's going to lead your franchise for the next 10, 15 years. He doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have the intangibles. And I just don't see him as a great guy who can come in. And quite frankly, the Lions aren't good enough to bring in a rookie quarterback.
Interesting. Now, I'm going from the statistical point of view. The other day on a radio show, they were talking about how, first-round quarterbacks, and it's around 50-50 first-rounders if they're good or if they're bad. Not great or not horrible, but just, winning or not winning. And so you got to think about it. You're spending $80 million potentially on a 50-50 chance where you could go, linebackers or around 60-40, linemen or even better. If you're looking at it, I was looking on Wikipedia myself and trying to get a good estimate, and linemen are honestly the best chance you got of getting a decent player. So I would say my recommendation for Detroit would be go lineman, get an Jason Smith, Andre Smith, one of those two guys. Actually, who do you think's better? Just a quick answer.
I think Andre Smith has some issues. He clearly showed those. So I'm going to go with Jason Smith just because the Lions still don't need another issue.
I agree. They're both good, but, I think you got to go when you're building a franchise. The guy with I'll agree with you on that. It's a good point. Aaron Curry, I think, is probably one of their safest picks this year. But the key to this, our rebuilding plan, move the team. Not move the team out of Detroit. We love Detroit. We like the fans there. Get rid of that stadium. New stadium in some maybe suburban place of Detroit. Change the name. What would our name? We decided on a great name.
The Michigan Mustangs. There we go.
We like it.
Get some new colors. Now, just get rid of the losing culture.
Just to lay out the color. If you've ever seen a cool Mustang hatchback come up next to you, black, nice Mustang, that would be our base color.
Apple red.
Candy apple red would be the secondary color. Just if you could picture that. Mustang, obviously, we mean the horse. Kind of a Boise State type logo, a little bit cooler. No offense, Boise State. The Smurf turf is awesome. Now, new uniforms, obviously. Now, the new coach. You got Bill Cowher, Mike Shanahan, and, of course, John Gruden. 3 Super Bowl coaches. Bring in one of these guys?
Yeah, I think you got to throw as much money as it takes to get one of these guys to come to your team. I think John Gruden's a great possibility. Bill Cowher might be hard.
Bill Cowher, you don't know where he's going to go. Mike Shanahan, I don't feel like he's done.
I think he'd be more than willing to come and play for get a team as long as he has full control. So I think that'd be a good option too.
And now, as far as the roster is concerned, we've already stated, draft Curry, draft Jason Smith, and do not draft Stafford. We're going draft this year linemen and defensive players.
Defensive talent.
Linemen on both sides of the ball, linebackers. That's a deep draft class in those areas.
Yeah, you can still pick up great playmakers that can be with your team for a long time in the late first round and second round. That great guys that normally would be first round draft picks.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is really a key part. Trade away as many players on your team right now with the following exceptions: Calvin Johnson and Kevin Smith. Those two guys are going to be good.
Yeah, you got to keep them. Few playmakers on your team, but very, very few.
Everybody else. And Dante Culpepper. He'd be good for mentoring you.
I think Dante Culpepper's a guy you need to keep in there for a while. You can draft a quarterback late this year, early next year, and build a team around him. You could draft Bradford or McCoy next year. You got those options. So I think drafting a quarterback next year is probably your best option. Or getting a guy late this year and seeing what happens there.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. On our next show, give you a little preview. We're going to discuss the Madden cover and the draft. All right.